Good morning, traders. Welcome to this video on the euro dollar and the pound dollar. My name is Chris Forsick from Elite Currency, and let's get started with the euro dollar. So price respecting the 21 EMA zone. That is why it's so important, I think, to keep an eye on that, because without breaking through that zone, there is certainly a continuation potential there. As you can see, what happened: price respecting, bouncing at the 21 EMA zone, and continuing higher. So all the time we were keeping an eye on this fib and saying that if price stays also above not only these 21 EMAs, but also the 38, 23.6 fib, 50 fib there, around 119.35, 119.50, that could still be a wave 4. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart. And last week we were saying that this could be a wave 1, 2, 3, a 4, and up for 5 of a bigger wave 5, with this being a 1, a 2, 3, 4, and this a 5. So we have a 5 of 5 now taking place. Probably. Let's see if that's correct. And that could be a bigger A. So that's why this is so important. And you see that the move sideways was just an ABC pattern, really, trying to lure in and maybe reversal traders. In any case, price going ultimately sideways here with this ABC, respecting the 38, bouncing at the 38.2 fib, and breaking above the 21 EMA for the second time. That's why also a second break above the 21 EMA zone is so critical. This first one sometimes works well as well, but is more vulnerable to being a wave B, and hence the second one works out typically better if there's a trend, at least, because that indicates the end of an ABC and probably the continuation of an uptrend. So that's why this particular close above the 20 MA is so important. Also the blue arrow as well, and the blue candle, as you can see, which is part of SWAT. All of this I explained in my SWAT course, by the way. As you can see also, the moving average is aligned. So with price above the 20 EMA, above the long-term moving averages, confirming the breakout, and the wave 5 probably, and has moved up more than 50 pips since then. So what's next, right? So now that we had that reversal we already talked about here at 117, we had a 5 wave up here, a 2 with an ABC and 2, and then we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, and then a 4, and then we have a 5 now with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 probably taking place. Now, what if scenarios? Okay, so at this moment, it's really running into the resistance zone I considered to be the main target of this 5 wave pattern, which is 120 and 120.25. So if my original analysis is correct from about, I guess, 2 weeks ago or so, when this move up started, it should make a bounce here, to be honest. Here is the main spot I thought would be the main target area for a move down, and I expect an ABC down, probably back to this level to get an inverted head and shoulders, and then another 5 wave up to complete that bigger ABC. So if that analysis is correct, we should get fully correct. We should get a bounce here. That said, if because of the strength of this momentum, the strength of this candle, with the candle close near that high, I don't think that sellers are stepping in at this moment. I don't see them at this point, at least. So the current price action is making the analysis I mentioned, I guess, 1.5 weeks or 2 weeks ago. I don't know exactly. Let me check. When was this? Yeah, this was end March, so that's already like 2.5 weeks ago. Based on current price action, I would maybe adjust that analysis from 2.5 weeks ago a little bit, because the current price action seems a bit too strong at this moment, right? So I'm not sure about this 50 fib bounce. It's sitting right at the 50 fib. I don't see any signals yet that price is reacting to this fib. Now, so from that point of view, it doesn't hurt to take profit here, in my view, just in case, and just close the trade. Any trades that are open, good spot for taking profit. But that said, current price action does indicate that it might go to the next fib. I wouldn't rule it out at this moment, and that's something you don't know, of course, back down in here. You cannot know how impulsive this is, etc. So you have to weigh in that new information. And I wouldn't be surprised if it can go further to 121, the WIS7 and the 61.8 fib, and maybe make a bounce there. Any bearish price action candlestick patterns here at the 50 fib or at the 61 point fib or even at the 78.6 fib, although I don't expect that, could indicate the start of wave A, and we should see a drop down, a move up for B, and then I move down for C to this level, and then we might get a bounce back up as we complete that bigger ABC. That's still valid, this particular analysis. My main question for the moment is, will it bounce at 50 or 61.8 fib? So I'm waiting for 1 hour or 4 hour bearish candlestick patterns to indicate that. Even the daily candle could be useful, in my view. Like if there's a big wick at the end of the day, of course, then more downside is likely. In that case, I'll put the fib from the bottom to the top, whether that's here or at 121, right? And I will look for a move down to the 38.2 fib, and a bounce there, back up, and then a higher low, and then a move down to the 61.8 fib probably, as I said, because of the head and shoulders, like that. And at 118.30, and then I move up to the previous top, basically, which is already 88.6 fib at the very minimum, I would say, which is all the way up at 122.75-ish there. So something like this. Something like that. And then here I'm still expecting the downside. That long-term analysis there, or mid-long-term maybe, is still valid, or still the same, I should say. And so let's see if we get the bearish bounce here. Now I'm turning bearish against this trend up, right? I was calling here a reversal back up. That seemed early, but it did work out. Now I'm, in my view, doing the same here. The odds of downside are just increasing. And I wouldn't rule out maybe one more break to 121, but eventually I do expect a reversal, not a full-fledged reversal, but an ABC reversal back to 118.30. That's my view at the moment. But that said, I mean, this current price action is looking very strong, so I'm not going to jump in that right now. I think it's a good target zone for taking profit, but looking for reversals is too soon. I think it's a reversal zone, but not visible yet, let me say it this way. So let's see if we get that later today or later this week. On the 50-minute chart, you can see what a rocket this is. So at a 50-minute chart, I really suspect that if there's a flag pattern, to be honest, or a bull flag or a triangle pattern that respects the shallow fibs, like this fib. Let me get rid of this fib here. Right, and there we go. And if it respects the shallow fibs, like 23 or 38.2 fib, that could become support. Now 120 could become support, actually, because the price broke through that. So if we see, more importantly, is probably the pattern, some triangle or bull flag pattern, back to these shallow fibs, max the 50 fib. That could be a bouncing spot for that continuation up to 121. That would not be a bad intraday play, I think, but I need to see the pattern first, then a bounce. If it breaks through the 50 fib, of course, that would invalidate the short-term, well, not invalidate, but make it very unlikely, the short-term upside. It is invalidated, of course, if it breaks to the top of wave 1 here at 119.60. Then it's invalidated. But yeah, the flag, bounce at 38, up to the minus 61.8 target. Doesn't look bad like an intra-week or intraday setup, in my eyes at least. All right, pound USD. We did not get the break to the upside here. Again, the 144 EMA, you can see how important the 144 and 233 EMA is. Again, not able to close above that. Big wicks here, a lot of indecision. Price just not able to break that resistance. And the importance of 144 EMA is also explained in my SWAT course. And yeah, you can see it bounced instead of making that break. But where did the bounce go to? Back to the bottom of the channel we had on the chart. And that's why I said here, look, there's a potential bouncing spot. And buyers stepping in. You can see that, of course, with the wick. Pretty big wick. Buyers stepping in. And then the close above the 20-day high. Dominant close. Breaking above the 144 EMA as well. And we are having a follow-through ever since. So this was an excellent candle for that breakout after the bounce. It had a blue SWAT candle, blue arrow, blue diamond for those SWAT traders that have those indicators. So we got a follow through to the upside after the double bottom here at the double bottom here, and we had a bounce, a higher low, and the bounce of this channel, and a break above the channel as well, bounce and break at the same time. And now we're moving up. Now at this moment, we're getting quite close to a resistance zone. We're not there quite yet, so there is still space for it to move up. On the outer chart, we had a great break pullback continuation, but that was during the Asian session of today. So at this moment, there's not a lot of space here. Probably the 50-minute chart is the best, or even the 5-minute chart maybe. 5-minute chart already had a bounce to the 21 MA here, here, and here 3 times. So we're a little late for that, unfortunately. But anyone who traded the bounces here, not doing bad in most cases, or all cases at the moment at least. So I don't see any particular setups at this moment. I would need to see probably a 50-minute pullback at this point. Maybe hit with 5 or so, or with 6, and then make a flag and break out again. And but there's not a lot of space here. So we'll have to see how price action unfolds. The daily candle is probably looking quite bullish. So I'm not opposed to trading up and higher here as it breaks above the 20 MA on the daily chart. And it could go further than this resistance zone, to be honest, if it's a bigger ABC pattern. But I would need to see later today on a 50-minute chart some flag and break, or later this week, maybe even on the hourly chart, a bigger flag. This was a very small flag. This is more a 50-minute flag. So even on the hourly chart, a flag and continuation would, I think, be fine for one more push higher. Why do I expect one more push higher? Because this looks like a wave 3. So I do think that we'll get a wave 4 and up for 5. So if I put the fib from here to here, I think that if it, let's say it goes up to 139.36 here. Sorry. Hang on. $139.50 maybe. 139.85, somewhere in there. So sorry about that. So let's see. If it goes up to 139.50, a pullback into 139 or 138.50 in a flag pattern and then bounce looks good for a move up to 140 in my view. This might be the most interesting one, in fact, in my view, potential there. For the moment, there's a little bit of space maybe on 5 or 50-minute charts for push higher, but after that, I would like to see an hourly flag and break out for one more higher high. And then after that, if we get the flag and higher high, there could be a reversal zone again for downside. But I have to say that I would definitely want to see some bearish price action candlestick patterns visible to confirm that push down. Okay, so well, that's my 2 cents at the moment. Check out elitecurrency.com for more live analysis, of course, and live webinars and our education articles, our automated trading systems. So we have a lot of material available there for understanding, learning, and the current events as well. And see you all very soon in those live webinars or in the next Euro Dollar Pound Dollar video on Wednesday. Cheers.